Sincerely, peace. It's the Hood Mystic. Goodness gracious, I haven't talked. You know, when you don't be talking for a long time, you get that, I don't know, I need to talk. So, today we're talking about fearlessness or having less fear. I think this is a very important conversation in the realms of shadow work, mainly because shadow work is ubiquitous. Everyone has a shadow, yet nobody wants to talk about it. At a certain level, you could deal with a person and everything on the surface is right. They got enough money, they look good, they hold the babies. But the more deeper you get to dealing with the person, you realize that, oh, this person may have some issues. This person may have some darkness associated with them that they haven't necessarily dealt with. And a lot of times people don't know that they have this darkness. The darkness masquerades in our life as fear. So fear is a subtle process, it's a psychological process, and it's a physiological process where our mind and our bodies really feel that there's something to be afraid of. And if our mind and our bodies are not connected, we will atrophy our spirit. When we're talking about spiritual growth, we're talking about growing in your spirit, being more mature, developing more spiritual gifts, getting a deeper understanding of your ancestral connection, lineage, your relationship with your guides, so forth and so on. These things aren't conjecture, especially if you are serious about your spiritual growth. In society, nobody is going to come to you, put a gun to your head, and say, develop your spiritual gifts. You have to be personally motivated to do so. To have a representation with your spirit team, for one level, will have you looking crazy. But at another level, it'll make you psychologically sound and prepared for things such as dreams, afterlife, astral travel, spirit connections. This is really about living a holistic life. This is spiritual growth. This is something that is available for you, but you have to understand it to be a truth. Now, what stops this actual growth is fear. Now, in our last conversation, we talked the difference between acute fear versus chronic fear. Acute fear is Mike Tyson with a sledgehammer outside of your front door, and he's saying, I want them draws, and you like, fam, I don't swing that way, Mike. I'm a dude, and he like, I don't care. I want that goddamn boy pussy, and you gonna be afraid. Right? Gonna be afraid. Mike, please don't take my man virginity, right? But now that's acute fear. You probably don't know how, unless you got an AK-47. If you don't got no gun and Mike got a sledgehammer, you got to start thinking, got to start developing a plan, jumping out the bathroom window, running to the police station, something. That's acute fear. Chronic fear is the fear that is based upon false mispreconceptions about who you are going to be ultimately. If you have a false mispreconception such as, I won't be successful, then you're so spiritually in tune, your spirit will say, no, that's not right. We're supposed to be successful in love. Some people say, well, I feel depressed. I don't feel spiritual. The reality is, if you are depressed, if you are feeling negative, that is the true indication that you are spiritual, because you are in misalignment, and everything about your body, everything about your essence, everything about your mood and your personality is letting you know, hey, this ain't right. So we have these particular sensors within our being that tells us this isn't right. But sometimes we get comfortable within our chronic fear because we've created these boundaries for ourselves. We have to begin to look at ourselves and say, I was on bullshit. And if you're not able to do that, then you'll continuously grow these fears in reference to who and what you will be in this time. In reference to your spiritual growth, fear is the thing that is going to stop you. Because your spiritual gifts are limitless. Your ability to be oracular, your ability to have foresight, your ability to be in tune with the ancestors. See, sometimes we talk about spirituality and we imagine that spirituality keeps us at an even playing field with the rest of humanity. But the reality of spirituality is that it's an advantage. Sometimes the situation is inundated with tarot card readers and spiritual people. So a person pulling a tarot card now don't really affect you as if a person who is extremely in tune was to pull a tarot card. If you were to develop your spiritual gifts, like for me, I got my damn tarot cards with me in a specific case, just in case I need to ask myself a particular question. Should I do a sneaky link tonight? And then you get the goddamn Three of Swords and you like, no, don't do the sneaky link. It's going to turn out bad, right? So just pulling out my tarot cards, because you got to be using the spirituality as an advantage. I got a crisp deck of Thoth deck. See, that's what's gonna happen if I go in a sneaky link tonight. Indolence, right? Anyways, little jokes to liven the mood. But the deeper reality is you have to have, like, you could have a pendulum, you could have a tarot deck, you could look at astrology, but if you don't understand it to the point of being scientific, if you don't have a way of connecting with your spirit, if you don't have a way of connecting with your ancestors to the point that it answers the question, then all you're doing is spiritual masturbation and you're not growing spiritually. The fucked up part is that spiritual people not even talking to y'all in a language that you either want to hear or that is benefit you. All these spiritual people doing now is promoting the shit that they selling. So if I come here and I'm talking to y'all about some real shit, but the underlying fact is, I hope y'all buy my book, I hope y'all support my class, I hope y'all support me in some way, then I don't care about the message. I'm only going to speak enough to you until you begin to support me. So I'm only sharing this spiritual information so I can fatten my pockets. That's how a lot of these spiritual people is. And the reality is you're not gaining nothing from it. All you doing is supporting them and they half-ass projects and things of that nature. So, and actually sewing into people is good, because a lot of people have sewn into me. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that sewing into me is going to help you in your spiritual journey if you're not absolutely willing to do the work. If your connection to source isn't the most prioritized thing in your actual to-do list, then you're going to be fucked up out here in these streets. And you could spend $1,000 on my website. You can buy every book that I've written. If you're not trying to get closer to your soul, then it don't fucking matter. I don't gotta promote the shit that I do. You either gonna buy it or you ain't gonna buy it. But I could care less about sharing information and worrying about its result. And I'm saying all of that to say you don't have no idea of what it takes to be spiritual if you're not exercising your fear. And these conscious people, they have wonderful platforms. They get you in comfortable ass conversations, and you give them all the ashes and hand claps. You buy all of their products. You hear all of their empty words, all of their gestures that don't mean nothing. And people will sit and talk about shit, but in reference to what's happening in their life spiritually is really fucked up. Like extremely fucked up. Like they don't have no peace of mind. They don't have no real energy, because a majority of people that's talking to you live in this same shadow, live in this same chronic fear that they can't even warn you against, because they are inundated by it. They're submersed in it, right? And a spiritual person now can't really offer you shit besides a cute little selfie, right? A fucking family picture. Motherfuckers doing regular ass shit. But we supposed to be the conscious community. We supposed to be spiritual, and y'all doing shit that bitches been doing since high school. Cause you got a little money and now you living out your high school dreams. The reality is you would have had to experience some shit, and you not going to be able to experience shit if you ain't take risks. I'm not bragging, but it's just like I'm such of a real nigga that I'm for real. And it don't matter about the spiritual shit at the end of the day. But I'm real in the face that I face my demons, I face my fears, and I get it out the mud on or off the internet. And it's risky. It ain't no guarantees out here in these streets. I would never, I put my life on the line for my children. So my children hopefully don't have to go through the shit that I had to go through. And that's real ass shit. But the thing about me is that it come from the mud in real life. So I just be on the internet talking about my real life a lot of times. And the things that I've accomplished in my real life is me facing those fears, those deep, dark fears. And really, the crazy thing about fears, the irony about fears, the funny part about the fears is that I inserted these fears in my programming. I told myself I wouldn't be successful. I told myself I wouldn't sell books. I told myself I couldn't write a book. I told myself I wouldn't be able to be successful on YouTube. I told myself all of these things, and then I had to actually prove myself wrong. So I made the job much harder for me by having to overcome the programming that I programmed myself. The thing about chronic fear is that it don't exist. If you can't be strong enough to say, I limit myself, then you won't remove the limits. You'll always think that somebody else is holding you back. You'll always think that as if you could just get that one thing to take you over the top versus taking the small incremental steps in becoming that for which you want to be. The small incremental steps is a long journey, and that's a long, arduous journey just to say maybe you might not manifest it. That's fear, and that fear will make you not actually do the thing that you need to do today incrementally to get to the place that you're trying to get to. A lot of people sit back and wait for this success thing to happen to them. And the reason that they wait for the success thing to happen to them is because they suffer from chronic fear. Fear is saying, I won't get it. And if you feel like you won't get it, what's the incentive to do the thing in reference to what you actually want? See how ironic it is? You have things that you want to accomplish. You put roadblocks in front of the things that you want to accomplish. Then you overcome the roadblocks that you put in. Imagine all the work that it took for you to drag them heavy ass roadblocks. You know, them cinder block roadblocks that be on the side of the highway. Spiritually, you have to drag them bitches in front of your own fucking way. And then you want to run into the fucking cinder block and say, I wish this cinder block wasn't here, but you fucking dragged it in front of your path for years. How you going to drag something in front of your path and then say, I don't want it to be there? This is how crazy this shit is. And think about how insane it is to not be able to be told that. To say that you so powerful that you could actually block yourself from your blessing. And nobody can block you from your blessing but you. So, this is the reality of being consistently in our fear. Consistently in fear is stress and anxiety. Stress and anxiety is doing one major thing. We comfortable in our stress and anxiety because we got our weed, we got our liquor, we got our sex, we got our Netflix. So these things will be our buffer and separate us from our stress and anxiety temporarily. But what it's doing is growing under the surface. And as stress and anxiety grows under the surface, you cannot spiritually grow. You can't mature, because when it's time to mature, you got to sit down, put the effort, cut the TV off, stop wasting time, really focus and get to where you're trying to get to the point that you know you're going to get there. And you got to be so crazy sometimes, even if you don't get there, you still got to act like you will get there. See, that takes a level of risk. That takes a level of being fearless that most people really don't have it within themselves. Sometimes the stress and anxiety over a consistent amount of time have made people dumb. If you was a person that ever was striving to get out here and get it, the conversations that you have with people drive you fucking up a wall. And the reason that it drive you up a wall, because these people have produced so much cortisol and so much adrenaline that the higher function hormones that need to exist to be patient, to have attention, to concentrate, to focus, they don't even produce those hormones. They only operate at a level of chicken wing, work, sleep, chicken wing, work, sleep, chicken wing, work, sleep. Completely shut down. Because when it comes to spiritual growth, you have to want to be spiritually mature. I've never heard a person in all of my readings and all of the conversations that I've heard with people say that I want to be spiritually mature. I never heard a nigga say that. You want to start your business. You want to have a relationship. You want to have a nicer house. You want to have a nicer car. But to stand in your spiritual truth, be a spiritual grown-up. What is a spiritual grown-up? When was the last time you took care of your altar? When was the last time you... Why would you put your spiritual life to the side because you feel like one day something good is going to happen to you out the blue? So in reference to meditation, in reference to doing the things that you need to do spiritually, you don't have to focus on it, because you are already that spiritually mature person. See, that's the way a child thinks. And although you may have spiritual gifts and it's easy to get tarot cards, it's easy to call yourself an astrologer, it don't make it all the way true in reference to your maturity, in reference to your understanding. How lucid can you communicate that which is esoteric? So when sometimes people get in front of spirituality, they don't talk spirituality, they talk marketing. They try to say that I have this product that I'm selling you that's going to help you. Even though I got products that can help you, I'm not even going to market to you because I'm not even sure that you're mature enough to even handle the products that I have. How about that? I'm saying the fact that people want to do shadow work, but they don't actually want to be spiritually mature. Like, because shadow work is a term that's kind of popping, so now you interested in doing shadow work. But if I say, I want you to get through the fog that is blocking you from your soul, now that is not something that's very interesting to you. But I call it shadow work is cool. I want you to get rid of your suppressed fears that you have been sitting on for the past 20 years that you haven't exercised. But when you get mad at your boyfriend and you get to the point where you might catch a case, now you want to talk about shadow work. See, I don't know what happened. That was Ursula. Right? That was Baby D. Everybody has one that will fuck shit up. And honestly, if you don't examine it, it is going to fuck everything up for you. So where does this come from? If you have a lack of spiritual maturity, that doesn't mean that your conceptual thoughts of your spiritual energy will be diminished. Meaning that because people don't put in the spiritual work, that don't mean that they don't think that they the spiritual bee's knees. And this is based upon chronic fear too. Because you create an archetype of world's greatest healer, world's greatest tarot reader, world's greatest whatever the fuck, and you can't heal a motherfucking thing. You harm shit. You make shit bad. People don't even fucking like you in real life, but since you can call yourself something, a fucking alchemist, don't even know what fucking alchemy mean. Ain't transmuted shit. Still sitting with your negative energy. Didn't ever transmute nothing. But alchemy is the trendy topic. Trendy word. Shadow work is the trendy topic. True word. But nobody is going to check you on if you understand it because the people that you're talking to don't understand it. So how can they check you on the shit that you're saying? You know what that is? It's the blind leading the blind. And the reason that it exists is because everybody is fearful of who they actually are to be spiritually. If I say every question that was ever presented to you, you got the answer to within you. I'm talking trigonometry, geometry, chemistry, biology. It's all within you. You can answer any question. But you got to develop those psychic skills. You got to develop your relationship with the collective unconscious. Oh, no, that's too hard. So, your true self, who you are to be in the true self, you don't want to actually work towards that. You're going to redirect your direction externally and try to get the money and try to be the person externally while those repressions, those dark energies that you haven't examined, they linger and they grow and you become angrier. You produce more cortisol and then you become a zombie for the enemy. You just work. You make your money, you pay your rent, you go to sleep, you wake up, and you do the same shit. And then you say slavery happened in 1860 something. No, slavery happened right now. You have no conversation in reference to your soul. You only have a conversation to what you have on the external. People do not have the level of spiritual maturity because they didn't even realize that that was a thing to actually aspire to. Even presenting to you, you got to actually then think, well, that's got to be something that I want. I want to be as mature as I can be spiritually. I want to stand on my spiritual pussy. I want to stand on my spiritual dick and be the person that I'm supposed to be. I'm not going to hold back who I am spiritually. I'm going to integrate my shadow self. I'm going to integrate my angelic self. I'm going to integrate my ancestors. I'm going to integrate my oracular. I'm going to integrate my psychic abilities. I'm going to be the all. And motherfuckers will say, well, you can't be all of that. The reality is you don't know how much work I done out in nature. I'm out in nature right now. You don't know how many offerings I gave today. So when it comes to the spiritual work that you do, you gotta stop looking for motherfuckers to validate you through these bullshit ass readings from people. If you're not doing no spiritual work, don't talk to me about how spiritual you are. I can tell you potentially, yes, you are the fucking reincarnation of Hatshepsut. But if you don't do no fucking work, you gonna be Shaniqua fucking Jenkins from down the street. Ain't nothing around that. Ain't nothing you can do about that. Ain't nobody named Tinkerbell gonna hit you with a magic wand and give you the most magical pussy. It's just never going to happen. The work that you put in relation to your spiritual life, and then begin to share. Because once again, nobody lives in an ivory tower. Nobody lives on an island. Nobody exists in a vacuum. The reality of human spiritual life is connectedness. Authentic spirituality allows you to share and to give. Now, the true modality of sharing and giving is not economy or commerce. If you were to sit and examine your inner fears and step outside of your inner fears, address your inner fears, take risks, anything that you're afraid of, start looking at that shit, moving through it, you would never have to listen to a conscious nigga on YouTube for the rest of your motherfucking life. If you set up a sincere relationship with your ancestors and higher self, you will not have to subscribe to a spiritual nigga a day of your life. You would never have to buy a spiritual product for as long as you shall live. You would never have to buy a motherfucking crystal, a motherfucking herb, nothing from a motherfucker unless your higher self tell you to do so. See how that works? But y'all trying to deal with the spiritual niggas first as if that's going to bring you closer to your soul. Ain't nothing that a spiritual nigga can do for you that you ain't willing to do for yourself 10 times more. It's not to say don't buy spiritual products, but have a relationship with your soul for your soul to begin to tell you what spiritual products to actually buy. Or maybe your spiritual energy might inundate your pockets with some money first instead of you fucking stealing money, taking out payday loans to buy fucking crystals and shit. Fill up your cup first by dealing with your ancestors before you start listening to people. Because nothing compares to the relationship that your ancestors had for you. The reality is your ancestors are going to speak to you in high-pitched frequencies. It sounds like a buzzing. But if you got all this chatter in your mind about Jermaine and your baby mama and your job and all of this bullshit about your social media platform or what other social media platforms is doing, but you not even tuned in and tapped into the high-pitched frequencies that's going on in your fucking brain, you listening to the wrong thing. Everything don't gotta make sense in the spiritual frequency realm. Sometimes you gotta listen to high-pitched frequency noise and just listen to it for nothing. 10 times out of 10, you'll start saying shit differently the next day. And it's completely related to the high-pitched noise. But the same way as electrical signals is happening in your brain without them telling you, hey, we electrical signals and we going up and down your fucking spinal and we helping you operate at a fucking light speed level so that you a pure sentient being. None of the electromagnetic energy within you is telling you that, but the reality is it's still existing in that same fashion. So this works positively and this works negatively. There are negative energies within you that you have to purge out of yourself. And if you feel like, well, no, not me, you on bullshit. Everyone has a shadow, including you. And the person that's saying, well, I don't got any negative energy within me, you probably got the majority of it. You the one that's fucking up the relationships more than anybody, because you ain't doing none of the inner work. Especially if you look halfway decent and niggas tell you all day up and down that you got good pussy, you probably ain't did not one effort of shadow work, because niggas is stupid. Niggas will blow your head up all day. And because niggas will pay your rent, niggas will eat your asshole, you feel like you don't have to do no fucking inner work. But you get a nigga that eat your asshole, you get a nigga that pay your rent, and the reality is you can't even begin to treat him like shit. You treat him basically like shit. And then you like, well, why do I treat the good man like shit? Because you haven't done no fucking shadow work. You have fear in the realms of your relationship. You might have said some shit like, I don't think I'll ever be in a happy relationship. I'm afraid to be in a happy relationship. And then you get into a happy relationship and then your ass will actually be happy. Then the next thing you know, you calling him a bitch ass nigga for no reason. He came home at 11 o'clock after he told you he's working a double shift. You forgot that he told you he's working a double shift. So for 8 hours, you've been steaming mad. Whole time, it's your shadow coming out. Ursula ass coming out. Like, I told you that nigga wasn't shit. It's been 8 hours, girl. He still ain't called you or nothing. You know that nigga work for Amazon. He can't drive and talk on the phone at the same time. He was going to take that money to take your ass out on a goddamn trip. He walk home 8 hours late, so to say, and now you mad. Ruined the whole relationship because you refuse to honor that part within you. You just wait for her to show up. And when she show up, you can't hold her ass back. But it's a whole nother level to sit in front of yourself, sit in the mirror and say, bitch, you don't even run my life. I'm not even an angry bitch no more. I'm not even for real mad at nothing. He could do whatever the fuck he want to do and he gonna do it, but I'm not gonna be mad. I'm not going to be angry. I know that I'm not going to be angry because I invited my motherfucking best friend over just so she could have sex with him, and I watched him. I was the one recording it. I sent the goddamn tape to her. That was a good shit. Matter of fact, I'm thinking I'm going to put this nigga on OnlyFans, and I'm going to have him fuck all of my friends, and I'm going to record it, and I'm going to make all of the money. That's how you know you did some fucking shadow work. But if you still sitting like, well, if this happened and that happened, I'm going to shoot him in his fucking face. If I got to go to jail for 20 years, I don't give a fuck. That's when you know you haven't done no fucking shadow work. It's hidden until it is agitated. And if you never address it, this becomes the burden that you carry. This is why we have so many beautiful people, so many beautiful men and women that will ultimately say, I'm not going to be in a relationship. How you know you're not going to be in a relationship? Because they know that their shadow is going to ruin some shit. So they're not even going to open that door up. You could like a person really good and y'all could have that connection and they'll ghost your ass. Why would they ghost you? Because they know they ain't going to treat you. They ain't going to treat you worth a shit. Motherfuckers is sit in their room, sit in their house all day by themselves because they know they're a danger to society. And instead of doing the shadow work to heal that part of themselves because they don't know that shadow work is existing, that they can actually heal that part, they can actually change their mind, they can actually change their outlook by removing the fear. It's different for a woman to say, you know what, I'm a chick out here and I just really be shooting my shot all the time. I see fine ass niggas all day and I'll be like, what up, nigga, what's up with you? Here go my number, nigga, call me a little later with your fine ass. All right, nigga, holler at you later, peace. Hey, yo! Gray sweatpants! Come here, nigga! Come here! You see her down the street? Come here! Hey, yo! Hey! Whoop, whoop! Shit, nigga, I seen you down the fucking street with them goddamn gray sweatpants. Just want to give you my number. You looking good today, nigga. Imagine you a chick like that. You ain't gonna never be a chick that's single. If you a chick that say, you know what? I consistently shoot my shot. I got niggas calling me all types of times. I got so many dates lined up. Because I'm just a bitch out here that shoot my shot. I don't give a fuck. Some niggas say no. Some niggas say yeah. But shit, I'm not about to be lonely. I'm about to fuck with these niggas out here. They sexy. They cute. They nice as hell. And I'ma just holler at them. No, y'all just sit back. Don't even be out here like that. You want your fucking Amazon truck driver to fucking see you. You don't even fucking come to the door to get your packages, but somehow you want him to see. Like, none of this shit is making sense. None of it is adding up because it's false mispreconceptions. The fucking expectations is fucking unrealistic as fuck. And it's all because fear is little ass children acting like they spiritual. And they're not. They're fear-based, and they created a fake reality surrounding them that makes it all better. But the reality, if you want a nigga, start hollering at him. If you want money, start getting it. Start doing shit to make money. You got a business, and you want it to be successful, start fucking doing DoorDash. Get a job at Walmart. Take your checks, start investing them in your business. You said you want to have a successful business, and if your sales ain't happening, you know what? I have fucking Colombian Exchange. I've got that site at 2016. The first year, all purchases made on Colombian Exchange was from me. I made these fucking shirts for a whole year so I could have my own fucking shirt. We fucking cleared fucking 6 figures last year. It was times where I had to take my own $30 to keep the site going. I mean, for the whole year, it was times, imagine that. I fucking just say, you know what? I'm not paying $30 for this site. And I ruined my whole opportunity to make money in my business as we speak. Sometimes you gotta support your own shit, and motherfuckers is either going to catch up or they not. But you should be able to support your own shit more than another motherfucker would. But you got to be so fearless in starting some shit and being consistent with some shit to the fact the only way you going to know if it's going to pop is if you don't give up. You may not know it's going to pop if motherfuckers fuck with you or don't fuck with you. A lot of motherfuckers ain't fuck with me till they seen other motherfuckers fucking with me. And the motherfuckers that's fucking with me, I ain't know them from a goddamn hole in the wall. Meaning that if I relied on the motherfuckers around me, I probably still wouldn't be shit or would feel exactly like I ain't shit. It took complete strangers to make me realize that, oh, I may be working with something. So do not let your friends dictate how you supposed to move forward, your family how you move forward, because your friends and family, no matter what you selling, is probably not your fucking market. And the reality of marketing your business is that motherfuckers is just not hip to you yet. There's so many creators, there's so many people that's trying to get their shit off, and it's all about being consistent. I don't give a fuck who come up. I know I'm going to be consistent with my fucking content. That's all the fuck I know. So motherfucker can be viral, be smoking crack the next year. And I just be like, shit, I knew that motherfucker was going to smoke crack. He was too fucking high. Right? So just wanted to share that with y'all. Still working on this podcast that's going to be released this Monday. And removing those inner barriers by examining our fear, becoming less fear-based and more love-based, which would allow us to be more courageous, having more courage, being more heart-centered, being more centered in love, being able to be our best selves by sitting in that love energy over a long period of time. And sometimes you gotta love your shit. You gotta just love your shit, man. Just love your shit. And if motherfuckers ain't hip to you all the way, they will. Just keep loving your shit. Keep building your shit. You can absolutely take nothing and make it something, but you just have to nurture it, concentrate on it, and not be fear-based and to think that you can't do it. Everything that I've manifested for myself, I've manifested from a point of nothingness. I'll be sitting, meditating, and get a vision, and I figure out a way to manifest that vision. So hopefully y'all able to understand that if you're having a difficult time and you really need to find a solution, I challenge you to find that solution within you through your meditation and concentration on your higher self. And if it's difficult, you may need to do some shadow work to remove the fog. And I say you may, but I'm also saying that you absolutely need to do shadow work. So with that being said, y'all have a wonderful night, evening, day, wherever this video finds you. And I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace.